out of 10 cats. From Max and Patty, it's Patrick McGinnis. Funny Man, Ed Byrne. And their captain, Dave Spikey. And facing them tonight, just stepped out of the salon, it's Jade Goody. Comedian Reginald D. Hunter. And their captain, Sean Locke. Now, welcome your host, my friend and yours, Jimmy Carr.
And welcome to 8 out of 10 Cats, a show about opinion polls, surveys and statistics. Did you know, for example, if you were to count up every hot dog sold outside football grounds in Britain on a Saturday, chances are your nickname's Rain Man. 40,000 Americans are injured in the toilet every year. Most accidents are from people slipping on a wet floor. Just goes to show you've got to look out for number one. Half of all the people who have ever smoked have now stopped. Sounds good, but when I say stopped, a lot of them have died. Let's get started. What are you talking about? That's the name of our first round. We've teamed up with a leading polling organisation and they've asked the British nation what stories they've been discussing this week. It's our panellists' job to guess the British public's top 5 most popular talking points. Dave, your team to go first. What have the nation been talking about this week?
Well, around our way, it's been this smoking ban. I think the government reneged on the deal again, where they said that it was going to be a partial ban. I know they've changed their mind and it's a full ban. They were going to have designated areas in pubs, weren't they, for smoking? And to my mind, that's like having a swimming bath with designated urinating areas.
But it's part of the week that Tony Blair was worried about in his dual premiership. He's worried about this week because him and Brown were trying to push these measures through, and so far they've got them all through, I think.
I've been in this country since, what, 97?
Yeah,
and I've been hearing about Gordon Brown going to eventually be Prime Minister, and it's supposed to be this shift of power, and he was in the paper about it again this week. And I noticed Gordon seemed to have a lot more to say about this than Tony do. It's almost like he's a girlfriend who thinks he's a girlfriend, but he ain't really no girlfriend. I see him begging, like, when am I gonna be Prime Minister? And Tony's like, soon, baby. Paperwork, baby. You know, paperwork takes time.
The people I always felt sorry for in Ireland since they brought in the smoking ban is the passive smokers, you know? Because these people are, you know, who've been passively smoking all their drinking lives. They're sitting in pubs now going, isn't it great there's no smoking? It's fantastic. My clothes don't stink. There's an ashtray full of muck. It's brilliant. But why do I feel so terribly on edge all of a sudden?
So they should ban drinking in pubs as well. That's really lousy for your health. And the idea that it's antisocial, I have never seen a group of smokers rampaging down the high street, kicking in windows, pushing old ladies over going, whee, whee.
If they do go on a rampage down the street, it's not very far because they tend to run out of breath about halfway down that street.
I don't understand. How's it going to work? Is there going to be police forces in every single pub and restaurant? So when you light a cigarette, they say 50 quid, please. Put that out or you're arrested.
What you do is, the reason people stop is not the fear of the fine, it's just everyone going...
I think we lead the world in tutting, don't we?
Yeah.
Oh. When we first brought it in Ireland, I wasn't even thinking. And I went to light up a cigarette, first time I was back, and the guy's like, you can't smoke in here, I'll have to take it outside, it's the law. I'm like, fair enough. And I'm on my way out, he goes, but you can't take your drink outside. I'm like, you're just trying to annoy me now, aren't you? I have to stand outside, just leave me beer just inside the door and just stand outside and just sort of look at me beer as I'm smoking the fag. You can feel the beer looking back at you. You, the beer, the fag, you all know in your hearts you belong together.
They have banned it in some American cities, haven't they? Do you approve?
Well, as I live here, I couldn't give a fuck about what's going on.
There are times you really fancy a cigarette, and it's going to be quite tricky. Like, you know, if you just cheated death in an air disaster, you really want to have a cigarette then?
I reckon they'll let you.
Yeah, do you reckon?
If you've just cheated death in an air disaster.
Yeah. But you won't care anyway, will you? Just go, piss off.
Yeah.
I think put that plane out.
Are you saying, like, if your seat somehow gets thrown out of the plane into a pub?
Yeah.
Well, let's have a look and see whether the smoking ban is one of the top 5 most talked about things this week.
Get in.
Yes, it is. Interestingly, the ban on smoking will not apply to Wales, which is one more reason to visit Wales, which brings the total to 1. Sean, Jade, Reginald, what else have the nation been talking about this week?
Well, I think definitely the Winter Olympics. The thing I find really fascinating is the judges in the ice skating. They're just so harsh. Because you can see in ice skating, do amazing things like leap in the air, do 3 twists, come down on one leg, skate off, spin round, and we're all going, that's amazing. And the judge goes, moved his head. I'd like to see what score I'd get on the ice.
Have you ever skated before?
A little bit, but I'd be clinging to the side. What score I'd get? Well, I get like 0.1.
Well, we win very little, so we could introduce events that we'd have a chance of winning over here that we're good at in this country. Sliding down a hill on a bin bag. They'd be at the top of the hill at Swiss going, what do you think, Hanks? We'd be halfway down. Come on, Billy! Trees, in and out of trees. We could have old men clearing the path relay.
Pissing in snow.
Yeah.
Writing your name.
I love the curling, do you not? I can't go to bed if curling's on. 6-pack bag of nuts, I'm up all night if curling's on. I'm like, that me. Use your brush, use your brush!
I think it'd be nice if in the middle of the target they had a hole and you heard a big sploosh.
Do you know, this year, one of the English teams said it, the ice is not up to the standard it should be for Olympics, and so it's not as exciting as it should be.
How you gonna have the Winter Olympics and not have a snowball fight? They should have a snowball fight, everybody wearing a flag representing their country, and whoever just get bust dead center in the head. Boosh!
If we drew Germany in the semi-finals, whoa!
It'd be bloodshed.
Get some coal in, Billy, get some coal in. Hey, come on!
Can I just say, are you sure you know what you're talking about? Because I didn't think the Olympics even started, because I thought we was having it here.
No, you're absolutely right. The Olympics isn't on. I'm mental. Yeah. I don't know what I was going about. What are you talking about? The Winter Olympics? Will you shut up? We're just mad.
So the Olympics is going to be in here somewhere.
When is it here?
Yeah.
When's it here, Jade?
I don't know. That's why I'm a bit confused if he's on now.
No, you might be right. Jesus Christ, you better tell Hazel Irvine and the whole British team out there reporting these crazy foreigners slipping about on the ice.
I thought you might be watching that celebrity ice skating thing.
Have you been watching celebrity ice skating and you got confused?
No.
You know, that's the first thing I flick on when I come home in the evening. I don't want to drink, I don't want to smoke, I don't want to touch nobody's ass, I want to watch celebrity ice skate. That's me, yeah.
There's not enough dogs on ice. Take a dog into the middle of an ice rink, put it down, go off to the edge, shout it.
Well, let's have a look and see whether the Winter Olympics is one of the most talked about things this week.
Oh, it is?
Yes, the Winter Olympics kicked off last week. Britain's Tom Clemens took part in the 10K skiing sprint. He had to be content with 79th position. He was beaten by Spring. A scientist had to invent a new metal for his medal, Lastium. Dave Sting, what else have the nation been talking about this week?
What about that bloke, the British guy, the climber on holiday in Spain, who ended up having to survive by drinking his own piss? Which takes something out of the story when you're using it as a chat-up, I think. You know, yes, I survived for 5 days. Just me, man against the elements. What did you do? Well, I had to make a little covey in a crevasse of grass. I drank my own piss. And they're like, you did what? I hid in a crevasse. No, after that. Just drink my own piss? Yeah, all right, see you later.
It was a brilliant story, but it wasn't one of the most talked about things this week. This was the story of a British man who kept himself alive on a Spanish mountain by drinking his own urine. He managed to inch himself along the ground for some 300 metres with a broken hip and beat the British bobsleigh record by 1.39 seconds. Sean Steen, what else have people been talking about this week?
Valentines Day. People have been talking about that. I think Asda had a card. Their big publicity stunt, they had a card which was retail for 8p.
If someone got me that, I'd be mortified.
But the thing is, though, Jade, if you hung around till closing time, you get it for 6p.
I could have just nicked it.
I don't celebrate Valentine's Day, all of that crazy stuff. Just, it bugs me. It's International Test Day, so a woman get to test how much her man love her. For instance, I can't tell my lady if she got a fat ass. Now, because you ain't supposed to tell a lady she got a fat ass. Even if she asks you she got a fat ass, you can't say she got a fat ass, because even though she suspects she got a fat ass. But I got to lie and subvert reality and pretend that she don't have a fat ass, when reality, the reason I'm with her is because she got a fat ass.
But you have just told her she's got a fat ass now, haven't you?
Hey, baby, happy Valentine's Day.
I'm quite a traditionalist with that. I like all the chocolates and flowers and all that. I've just come back off my holidays today, and the girl out there, we went out, lovely meal, flowers, took her back to the room, chocolates, made love all night, and I'll never forget the morning after, as I were counting her money out.
I don't know if you read this also this week. In China, the most popular gift on Valentine's Day was plastic surgery. It really was. It really was. It's like, I love you more than life itself. Here, go and get your face changed. But yeah, I don't know.
Let's have a look and see if Valentine's was one of the most talked about things this week. Valentine's Day is the one day of the year when you receive anonymous mail where the sender reveals they want to have sex with you and you think, oh, that's nice. We've got two more to get. Buzz in if you think you know what the nation have been talking about.
Is it the US Vice President going out hunting and shooting his mate? Which is really funny. I mean, he said, I'm mistaken for a quail.
Lenny went, did you see the size of that fucking quail?
It's a shame he didn't go with Bush, though, isn't it? Just, that would have been nice if he'd shot Bush. That would have been perfect. If George Bush had popped out of a bush and he'd blown his stupid face off.
Now, Reg, you're an American man. Have you been hunting?
No, I've never been hunting. I've been in the forest with a gun, but...
Don't threaten me, Reg.
I was doing something else, though.
I don't think you shoot quails, because when I went on hunting, they only said that you shoot ferrets, rabbits.
You went hunting?
You sure you weren't working for Rent-A-Kill?
No,
You weren't hitting rats with a shovel?
and I'm going to go to shoot the ferrets.
You're going to go and shoot ferrets?
In the season.
In the season? Is there a season for shooting ferrets?
That's what they said.
Do you mean pheasants?
Pheasants!
Right, shall we have a look and see if Dick Cheney shooting someone in the face is one of the top stories this week? Yes, it is. Yes, 52% of you were talking about American Vice President Dick Cheney shooting a lawyer in the face in the woods outside Dallas. Right, we've got one more thing to get. Fingers on buzzers.
Is it the chip and pin card? If you're buying anything, you've got to know your pin number. You can't sign for it anymore. Is it that?
Well, that's been a very big story this week.
I think it's good because I've had money disappearing out of my bank account, going to shopping on the internet. I don't even know how to use that, so that's not me. And also gambling. And I don't gamble, and apparently I've won a few bets and all, but I don't know how because I've never even been on it. So this chicken pin malarkey is quite good.
I feel like I'm on a bus. I'm listening in.
Let's have a look and see if chip and pin was one of the most talked about things this week. Yes, it was. 54% of you were talking about the introduction of chip and pin this week. Right, well, at the end of that round, I can tell you that Sean, Jade and Reginald have 2 points. Dave, Ed and Paddy have 3 points. The next round is called the Poll with a Hole. We've looked through hundreds of surveys, past and present, from around the world and unearthed some fascinating facts. Unfortunately, each statistic is missing one salient piece of information, so it's up to the panellists to fill in the gaps. 60% of air passengers have had problems with what?
The pilot. I just judged this on one incident where I was flying recently to Alicante and we got up to 35,000 feet. He came on and went, pilot, Captain Johnson speaking. Reached our cruising altitude, 35,000 feet, on the way to Alicante. Weather en route's fine. Shit! That was it. And we sat there like... He came back on and he went, I'm really sorry, I might have scared some passengers. And what happened was, in the middle of my announcement, the stewardess brought me coffee and spilt it on me. And that was all he was. I'm sorry. And he said, you want to see the front of my pants? And some bloke at the back went, you want to see the back of mine?
60% of Earth passengers have had problems with a life jacket under your seat and not a parachute.
Is it collecting their luggage? Because I get my bags lost on average once out of every time. I feel like when I check in and they say, we'd like to ask a few questions about your bags, I feel like saying, well, I'd like to ask you a few questions about my bags. Like, are they getting on the plane? Are you packing this plane yourself? Will you leave my bags unattended for any length of time?
It's also have problems with the whole safety briefing thing, and the fact that you can survive a crash in an aeroplane just by leaning forward a bit. You're all right now, you're all right now, like that. Or attracting attention in the middle of Atlantic with a whistle. Oh, thank God they're here. 60% of bird passengers have had problems with that kid in front of them. Now, here's my tip. If there's a kid in front of you, sooner or later, he'll want to peep. When I stand on the seat and peep at you like that, here's my tip. If you're flying anywhere, don't peep back. Because it will just go on for the whole flight. 9 hours to Dubai, like that. Just get hold of it eventually. Go, it's always going to be me, all right? It's always going to be me here.
I would think that the seats would be a problem. Like especially like in America, like say for instance, you got a fat ass. And in America, a lot of people got a fat ass, and I would think that the seats would consistently be a problem over there. But I've seen a few people over here, and they seem like, well, I've seen a lot of fat people, but they ain't got no fat ass. I don't know how they do that.
Reg, that's exactly the right answer. It is 60% of air passengers have had problems with their seat. The main problem being it's next to a man whose shoe is ticking. 2/3 of judges are in favour of what?
I think they'd be in favour of. I think it's a really good idea. If all the jury all wore fancy dress. One like village people. One's a pirate, one's a cowboy, one's a spaceman, and they go.
What made you think a pirate?
A friend of mine was a lawyer, and he said he was in a courtroom where the judge sentenced this guy, and there's a certain sort of cachet in how you receive your sentence. And this bloke, he sentenced this guy to 2.5 years, and he went, 2.5 years, I'll do that spinning on my cock. So he gave him another 6 months.
Wigs.
Correct. That is the right answer. 2/3 of judges are in favour of wigs. So at the end of that round, I can tell you that Sean, Jade and Reginald have 5 points, and Dave, Patrick and Ed have 3 points. And the winner is the name of our final round. I'm going to give the teams a series of opinion polls and surveys. It's up to them to buzz in and tell me who or what they think came top. Here is your first one. Thing that most annoys men.
I'll tell you what annoys me, and it's a thing I've noticed more and more, especially in themed pubs, is when you go to the toilets in a themed pub and it doesn't say ladies and gents anymore. They put something like, they'll have pictures of 2 deer, and it'll be like Bucks and Hinds, and you go, I think I'm with Bucks. Oh. Well, the worst one is for swans, and it's a cob and a pen. And these have 2 swans, and you go, cob and pen, which one? Oh, I hate that. And I notice they don't do it with the disabled toilets. They don't have like a deer with an antler down like that.
I don't know if my manhood got nothing to do with it, but this annoyed me. I was watching news one morning, and it's supposed to be like the news, the man reading the news, this his news. And then he took newspapers from other sources, and he read the headlines as if this was his news. And he do this every day. And don't nobody say nothing. Now, when I did this in school, they said this was cheating. That's like me having my own cooking show on TV and saying, welcome to Big Daddy's Kitchen. I don't really feel like cooking nothing today, but look at all this wonderful stuff that Ainsley Harriet brought back.
Is it their girlfriend's talking to them through the cat? What's he doing? Oh, he's watching his programme. Watching that silly programme, isn't he? We don't like that programme because it's science fiction, which is silly, it's what nerds watch.
You know when you think you've got a day off because your partner or your wife, she said, I'm going to the shops, I've my hair done, I'm going out with the girls for dinner, and then you're thinking, yes, yes. Get up, big breakfast, go down, get the racing post, pick a few horses, bookies, have a few pints at dinner, brilliant. Get downstairs, fucking list. Things to do. I've left you a list. You've left me what? Well done, girls. This is just remarkable. Number 1, feed dogs. That's all right. 2 minutes. No problem. Number 2, wash last night's pots. All right, minute. Number 3, water plants. We got plants. Number 4, point gable end. Oh, for fuck's sake.
I've no idea what pointing a gable end is.
Do you know those rough men that occasionally come around your house? They do that.
Giving directions when in the car reading a map.
Are you good at reading the map, Jade?
I don't know where to go when the line finishes.
I just wish, at this point, I'd just like to say, I wish this was a foreign film and that was in subtitles. It's some art house cinema. They're going, oh, right. It's an interesting film.
I'm going to give you a clue to this. It's related to something you do in your lounge.
It's the loss of the remote control, moving, can't find it, where is
That
it?
is the right answer.
Yeah.
Sean? The thing that most annoys men is someone hiding the TV remote. My girlfriend hides the remote on top of the TV, which rather defeats the purpose of having a remote. Most dangerous driving habit.
Is it when you sellotape a cushion to your face, like that? You can't see a bloody thing.
Is it a can of peas running under your brake pedal? Then you can't use it, can you?
It's hardly a driving habit, though, is it? There's cans of peas.
Is it filling each other up if you with somebody else in the car while you're driving? Like, you driving, and then, you know, she rub on you, and then you start rubbing on her.
Then she says you failed your test.
It's to do with distance.
Parking.
Oh, up people's bums.
Correct. So the answer is the most dangerous driving habit is tailgating. Biggest problem facing dogs.
My brother really loves his dog, I think, a bit too much. And no, not in that way. But you know dogs are supposed to have 7 years to our one. He gives his dog 7 birthdays a year. He has 7 birthdays for it. But he gives it the bumps as well. The dog doesn't like that particularly. Because the last birthday was about 72.
I think the biggest problem for the dog is being told that he's a member of the family, yet he still have to shit outside. I think that's very confusing for a dog. And it make the dog not believe anything you tell him, like, well, I'm part of the family, but I don't see nobody else shitting outside.
Is he getting those buckets off?
Oh, I love those.
Yeah, I think they're made to make it easier to catch dog biscuits there, aren't they?
It is a health-related problem for dogs.
Worms.
Oh, so
Obesity.
bad.
Obesity is the right answer, Paddy. Well, that sound tells me it's the end of the round and the end of the show, which means the final scores are Sean, Jade and Reginald have 7 points, Dave, Patrick and Ed have 6 points. I mean, Sean's team are the winners tonight. Thanks to all our panellists, our wonderful studio audience and to all of you for watching at home. That's it from us. Join us next time when our guests will be Kelly Osbourne, Neil Morrissey, Richard Madeley and Vic Reeves. See you then. Hello, I'm Jimmy Carr, and I don't want to impose on your day. I know you just watched a clip of me. You probably had enough of me already. But if you could like and subscribe, that would help me in some way, which I don't fully understand. I think basically if you like and subscribe, then down the line, I have a more comfortable retirement. I don't know.